Hello, good afternoon. Oh, camera's the wrong way round. Apologies for that. Hello, good afternoon. I've just taken the dog out for a beautiful walk and I'm up by the church, and I just thought I'd sit and do this live. I can't see the screen at all. The sun is shining. It is a absolutely glorious day. It really is beautiful. And I wanted to share some thoughts really about what's been going on lately. And the title of this live is called Selfless, Selfish and Self-Centered. What's the difference? And it's an interesting concept really, because some people actually don't understand the difference between the three words in its everyday operational sense, so to speak. So I wanted to come on and just give my take on it, because I've been working with some clients around this very subject just recently, and we've had some proper breakthroughs as regards to their foresight and their perception of where they are in their life. And it's a really interesting thing to actually grasp and get your head around. So this is, as I said, it's my opinion. It's based on what my view of the world. But it's also helped clients, as I said, to break through this very topic. And so selfless is when, well, if you're an empath, or you serve in a healing way, in a holistic way, along those lines. Selfless is where you put everybody else first. You tend to go into situations where your energy is just used in whatever shape or form that is, and that could be in the financial aspect, because money is an energy, so we need to clump it all together. So it could be your support, it could be your time, it could be your effort, it could be your healing, it could be, as I said, your financials, money, and you willingly give, and you 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 get to a point where sometimes you've actually burnt out from it all and you can't give anymore. There's nothing left to give. But because you've developed these relationships around this selfless behaviour, it causes a lot of friction when you actually have to take a step back, not only with the individuals that you have been giving this selfless act to, but also with yourself. You tend to find that as you start to put in your boundaries so that you can recoup and that you can regenerate and really try to get yourself back to a place where you are able to be selfless again, if that's the place that you need to be, then what happens is you start to struggle with the fact that the individuals that you may have been selfless with start to not understand or don't like the fact that you've put these boundaries in place, because you need to conserve your energy, your time, your finance, whatever it may be. And in some instances, in a classic one just recently, a client of mine became very, very sick, and this client has been used to caring for family members and is now unable to do so because he's been told he needs to put himself first, and that's rightly so, because if you continue in this selfless mode, what happens, as I said, is you get to this burnout. So you either burn out physically, mentally, or financially. You just can't sustain it because you're not getting anything back. And if it's only when you get to that point that you actually realise. And when you can't then answer the calls of these individuals like you have done, especially if you've set a precedent with it, it's a really difficult place to be, because you start to doubt yourself and you start to doubt the fact that you feel inadequate. And because you can't give, because you're exhausted. You're exhausted in whatever shape or form it is, and you can't give. So you end up feeling like you are now inadequate. And with that comes all sorts of manner of thoughts and processes that go through your mind. Your little monkey chimp brain goes crazy up there and starts to tell you how rubbish you are, and how you're not worthy, and how you are, all these things that come with feeling like that. And it's a very difficult place to be in. And then I want to talk now about, I'm going to talk about self-centered, and why the best place for anybody to be in their life is self-centered. Now, there's a big difference between self-centered and selfish, and that's another thing that people struggle to get their head around. So they move from this selfless, and they're told, you know, you need to be more self-centered. But being self-centered is about acting your life out in a way that's bigger than yourself. So it's for the highest good, it's for the highest possible outcome that you can imagine for all parties involved. It's done with compassion, it's done with respect, and it's done from a place where you have boundaries around conserving your energy, in whatever shape or form that is. As I said, I've mentioned financial, I've mentioned physical, I've mentioned mental. They're all an energy, and being self-centered is around placing these boundaries so that you can protect yourself, so that you can live your life from the place of the highest good. And that place will change as you grow as an individual, and as you become more spiritual, and as you get more into your path. That place of the highest good will grow, because your thought processes will grow, your healing will take shape. But when you live your life from a place of being selfish, you basically don't care who you tread on and what you do to get what you need in the world, regardless. And it's not even for the highest good, it's just because you can. It's just because it goes into all that negative spiel about, you know, having control, manipulation over other people. And that's, in my opinion, what selfish is about. So the next time you are around anybody and you find yourself in a situation where you are just exhausted, you're just exhausted in every shape and form, and you really do need to put the boundaries in, you know, at some point you have to stop the selfless, because selfless means you do not love yourself. It means you are not replenishing yourself. You are not giving yourself what you need, because you're giving it to everybody else. And in the end, there's only one outcome for that. And the outcome is you end up depleted in a place where, because you've been the selfless person, that there's no one there to actually bring you back or hold you up or put you to a place where you can now feel, you know, back in the place where you can give again. Because people are used to just taking. It's take. And you have to have an energy exchange, because if you don't have an energy exchange, you will constantly crash. You'll crash, it will affect your mental health, it will affect your physical health, it will affect your financial health, it will affect every aspect of your being. And this is why you have to set your boundaries. And even though when you start to set your boundaries with the people around you, some of them will throw their toys out of the pram, some of them won't like it. But that's where you have to be strong. And you have to remember and tune back into your solar plexus and say, is this for the highest good? Is this for the highest good of everybody involved? And if it is, it's the right thing to do, because you can take a non-biased approach to the situation. You can take a non-biased approach to the emotional content that can come from this situation when you set your boundaries and when you start to implement your boundaries, because there will be a deep emotional fallout from it, and it's a difficult place to be in for all concerned. But you have to do what's right for the highest good of everybody, and detach from the emotion and stay true to the intention, because it's only then that you will shift the energy. It's only then that you will be able to move energetically to the next level of where you need to go on your spiritual path. And wow, where did all that come from? I just wanted to share that, because I've just been, as I said, taken a walk with the dog, and thank you to everybody who's joined me. I can't actually see because the sun is so bright here. It's such a gorgeous day, but thank you if you have joined me today, and if you're watching the replay, thank you for watching the replay. And by all means, if you want to contact me about what I've said and bounce some ideas off for yourself, by all means, please do. But just remember, selfless, self-centered and selfish. They are three distinctive, different ways of living your life, and the choice is entirely yours. But I've just given you some of the pros and cons on each of those, of what that might look like and how that might play out in your daily life. So on that note, you guys have a fantastic day. I've got my healing circle tonight, and I'm looking very much forward to that. I'm meeting some new people, and I'm going to continue walking my dog and get him to the stream so that he can have a lovely drink and a dip in that stream because he loves it. So take care, beautiful people, from my heart.